All right, we're live. Can everyone hear me? Tilakan, Bert, NK, El Romano. Welcome, guys. I tried to text you on Discord, but you have not reacted. If you send me a DM, normally I should, so try again and maybe I'll answer. Gnostic, welcome, man. All right. First, hold on. Is the music good? I guess so. What was I going to say? First live stream after the brutal week we saw on Friday on basically everything. Especially in my live streams, right? I explained every time why I was watching monthly liquidity below these lows. Of course, I'm not gonna claim like I called it, you know, I didn't catch shorts. Well, I did on breakouts. But like, yeah, no one saw that move coming. Especially on altcoins, you know. Altcoins saw brutal wicks to the downside. I guess everyone who was long on altcoins and on Bitcoin probably as well got stopped out or sadly liquidated. But anyways, we've got a new higher time frame chart to work with, a lot of new levels, and mostly liquidity to the downside finally swept, right? The liquidity that we wanted to see getting swept over the last couple of weeks finally got swept. So fresh game plans both on the higher time frames and on the lower time frames, which we're going to cover in today's stream. So make sure you stay tuned. Gonna wait a couple minutes so some more people can join, and then we'll get started. If you guys have any questions throughout the stream, feel free to ask. Requests we might do at the end, we might not. I will do some altcoins myself. Of course, the ones that I like. I'm in some longs, very low risk longs for now. As you can see, Bitcoin is still rejecting here, but I think, in general, like this area is a great area for longs, and I'll explain why. So it's same with altcoins. They swept like huge levels to the downside. I think the upside is not done. So yeah, we'll see. I don't accept friends on Discord. My DMs are open both on Twitter and on Discord. You should be able to DM me on Discord. If you cannot, that's your settings that you need to change. Please, Sol, we'll take a look at Solana. Dump on New York, open and pump. Yeah, I feel like that's a great scenario, right? I was watching these lows right here. I think we didn't come this close to these lows not to take them out. So indeed, one more dip and then we run it back up. Very clean lower time frame range to work with as well now. So let's hope we don't have too much action during the streams, because I would love to trade these moves as well. Halloween, welcome, man. Look at Tether dominance charts. I personally don't really use dominance charts, so we'll see. Saludos from Argentina, Jose. Welcome, man. This one is one that I'm long on. Posted in the Discord. This morning we saw such a nice move, but I held. I thought we were going to squeeze through, but ugly rejection for now. Anyways, still in this one. Esther watching as well. That's about it, I think. Oh yeah, Zcash. from yesterday. Ugly though, very ugly. And Bitcoin, of course. Right, let's get started. 80 people, great to see. If you enjoyed the stream, leave a like. All right, as always, subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already. That helps me a lot to grow on YouTube. So that is much appreciated. And then I would just quickly want to say, I'm not sure if I can show you. As many of you know, I have my Discord group, right? I'm currently running a little promo where if you buy a breakout evaluation, right, of at least $200 using my code with a fresh email, that's very important. So a first time evaluation, you get to join my group for free. This offer stands until tomorrow, so if you want to get one, you can do so just on the link and just make sure you use that code. You can also join my Discord just by making an account on Blowfin and making a deposit as well. All right, just quickly want to mention that together with Breakout, I'm also giving away a free $100,000 evaluation that lasts until tomorrow. Lasted for 2 weeks, so tomorrow we're giving it away. What do you have to do for that? To be in the giveaway, exactly the same as this right here. Buy an evaluation, a first time evaluation, very important. So use a fresh email that you haven't used before on Breakout to buy an evaluation using this code. All right, and then you're in for the giveaway and you can win a $100,000 evaluation. If you did these steps, send me a DM on either Twitter or Discord, and then we'll get you added to the Discord group where I post more analysis, more trades with stop losses, all of that stuff. Okay, blah blah blah. With all of that being said, let's dive into the charts. We're gonna start clean, right? Why? Because yeah, we saw this this huge wick on Friday, right? So the higher time frame chart has changed quite a bit. If you go back to my previous streams, what did we say, right? That the monthly chart would look so much better if we had a longer wick to the downside, right? We were watching the lows right here and right here, and we were saying that's gonna be a big draw on liquidity, and that is going to be a problem as we get closer to these lows. Along with that, what did we say? We marked out our bottom. Yeah, I can't show you right now, but we did have a flat bottom on the monthly candle. And what did I say there? The closer we get to that flat bottom candle, the more likely we take it out, and the more likely we take out these lows as well. Hold on, let me quickly, I can show you the chart, I think. Where is it? Right here. Posted it on Twitter as well, right? Initially, I was a bit early, right? As you guys know, I shorted Bitcoin on the sweep of the previous month's high, which was this candle right here. I didn't think we would sweep all-time highs and then still go for it, but that's what happened. That's why I posted this one here as well. I might have been early with my previous post, but the theory is still in play. The closer we get to last month's high, the more likely it becomes we take out the current monthly low, in my opinion. Invalidation right there on new highs. So what do I mean with that, right? As you can see on this chart right here, we had a flat bottom, no wick to the downside, right? and clean monthly liquidity resting right there and right there below these candles. So for those reasons, we were cautious both on Bitcoin and altcoins, not rushing into any longs, because the chances of us going for that monthly liquidity and then bouncing, and yeah, we're currently here, but what I thought going for all-time highs after that were still very high, okay? And yeah, obviously, as you can see right now, we beautifully took out that liquidity to the downside. Now the question on everyone's mind, right? What's next? Is this the low win? Are we going for all-time highs? Or was this the distribution range? Or is this the distribution range where we break down from? And that leads to a lot lower prices. And to give you a quick answer of that, what I like, how I like seeing it right here, and what I see right here is that it's way easier up here to be bullish and to assume that the current range that we're trading in and that the current sweep that we saw on the higher time frames was a bullish sweep that ultimately leads to new all-time highs, and that we're in a reaccumulation range or a continuation range, rather than guessing that we have a top in and that we're gonna trade a lot lower. Why? Because just like I talked about, sometimes it's that simple that you just, well, that's simple, it's never simple, but it's never easy. But sometimes it's all about identifying what side of the market has the closest invalidation. And for me right here, what I see is very aggressive wick to the downside, monthly liquidity getting taken, right? And a strong reclaim and close back above the level. So what I like to assume here is that we've taken out high time frame liquidity, reclaimed the level, and until we lose this level, I like to be cautiously bullish, and assuming that this would be a reaccumulation range or a continuation range that leads to new all-time highs. Also, as most of you saw, right, I was still bullish on the very higher time frames and going into Q4, thinking that we would see a final leg to the upside. And like I saw some people who were sharing the same thoughts, right? But after yesterday's events, now they're suddenly very bearish, targeting a lot lower. Like if you were bullish, anticipating a bullish Q4, this was, in my opinion, the best thing you could have asked for. An aggressive sweep of liquidity, a strong reclaim. Now we're seeing some downside, but it's fine, right? We know where, we will cover the lower time frame soon, but we know what area we want to see hold here. And I don't care what it does here on the lower time frames if we have another small wick to the downside, but ultimately what we want to see is for this to break to the upside. So high time frame wise, I like to assume that this is the low win and the low that leads to ultimately new all-time highs. What invalidates this scenario, if we get a weekly close below here, right, and we lose that level, it's probably lights out and we're going for liquidity below here, liquidity here into weekly demand all the way down at sub 90k. What do you do then, right? If we lose this level, we close below here. If we sweep the low again and smash back above again, it's back on. And as long as we're below here, right, the next logical target should be all the way down here. But until then, right, this is a sweep of the lows, and the target remains first range highs and then new all-time highs. So let's mark it out a little bit cleaner with the range from there to there. It's not the cleanest range. Why not? Well, it is a very clean range, but it's like kind of difficult, as you could take this high as a range high as well, right? This was the high that got swept here, that led to this move to the downside, but this low was very isolated as well. From this low we went to the highs again, swept the highs, and from these highs we went to these lows again and swept the lows. So your weekly range here is set like this, and if that doesn't give you enough confirmation, what does? Well, the pivotal mid-range, especially on the weekly time frame, right? The range EQ, the mid-range, range mean, right? Whatever you want to call it, clean pivotal price action around there. So straightforward, right? Guess where we rejected to the T. Yeah, that's scary. Anyways, that's where we got rejected. If we break back above there, close the monthly there, what are we logically targeting next? Range high. Not just range high, not the level on itself, but we always like to combine it, right, with an area supply. This was the area where we started. Come on. Where we started dumping from, so people were accumulating shorts in this area, right? The sweep also that led to this move to the downside, and lining up with, yeah, it's gonna be probably a bit lower, but if you mark out your OTE, yeah, as you can see, it's gonna be resting right there. Now, in cases like this, I don't like to focus too much on OTE. Why not? Because of the aggressive wick and it being so different on every exchange, right? On some exchanges we went much lower, on some exchanges we didn't wick that low, so it's difficult to draw an OTE from this area. But what we do know is, right, that if we break above here again, right, the next logical target would be this area up here. If we get strength in this area or break above range high again, yeah, at that point likely squeeze a lot higher. Okay, now what do I want to see on the lower time frames, right, in order to be confident that we'll move to some highs after that? Well, if we take a look at the 4 hour, right, we got the wick, some ranging, built some lows right here, bounced towards these highs at range mean, at the mid range, and then rejected heavily. So where's lower time frame liquidity gonna be resting now? Above these highs and below these lows. So what does that mean? If we now go for these lows, right, what I'll be doing, well, I'm already in swing longs, but I'll be looking for a lower time frame play as well. If we sweep these lows, right, then we should see some strength come in, reclaim these lows, and at that point your invalidation is somewhere below range low and below some of these lower time frame key levels as well. You have another low there that got swept, so high time frame liquidity was swept on the wick, lower time frame liquidity being swept on a move like this. Keep your invalidation there, wide, right? If you reclaim lower time frame lows, you could trail your stop to the low at that point. I don't really like doing that. I'll just enter, right, keep my stop there and see what we do. But if you reclaim this, high chance that we see at least the opposite side of the lower time frame liquidity, which would be the highs up here, into, at that point, supply into 120k again. What invalidates all of this and where am I completely wrong? That is if we start losing these levels. Like I said, if that happens, I'll take an ugly stop out on my longs, right? And I'll be targeting all the way down here next. So at least 88k. But for now, I don't see it. I could be wrong, as always. I'm just sharing my view. But what I do know, the sentiment is very bearish again, right? While we've swept high time frame key liquidity to the downside, we are about to sweep low time frame liquidity to the downside. In my opinion, that lines up for a beautiful short squeeze back towards some highs. Is that clear for everyone? Any questions? This was a 12-hour close as well, by the way. The 12-hour open, yeah, close, open, whatever. Right, straight down from the open. So if we sweep this, yeah, I think we squeeze back up. All right, let's move on to some altcoins then. So Ethereum, yeah, swept a lot lower as well, all the way down into 3.4K. Let's clean up this chart a little bit. Let's remove this one as well. And take a look at some levels. So first one gonna be this low. That's the low that got swept, the most aggressive one, right? And then we have this low all the way down here. What I do like on Ethereum is that we haven't taken high time frame liquidity. And that's a good thing, as you have a high time frame draw to the upside. Aggressive low swept, right? Now retesting support. If this starts grinding up, I think at least we sweep all-time highs again into 5K. And then if we break back down, okay, then I could see lower, but I don't think we leave these highs up here unswept. What I could see, so either two scenarios on Ethereum from here. Either we hold down here, right? This level holds, right? Maybe wick a little bit lower, but then start grinding up again. Or we break below here. I don't think this low got swept on every exchange. So possibly we go for these lows again into your weekly, your monthly range mean, mid-range, right? Then reclaim those lows and then see the upside towards these highs after. But still, overall, I really like Ethereum. The higher time frame, as you can see, it's just beautiful. Let's remove that. The monthly, right? Ask yourself this question. If the monthly would close green now, how would this chart look? It would look mentally bullish, right? You have resistance here. Well, it was resistance. Boom, boom, rejected, right? Strong close above, and now we wicked, swept high time frame liquidity to the downside. We're reclaiming. So as long as we close the monthly above this level, I'm targeting new all-time highs. If we close below, that's a different scenario. At that point, this would be the sweep of the highs, and then yeah, we will have to reevaluate, but likely down to at least 2.8K. But until then, I see this as a bullish retest that results in upside, just like Bitcoin. All right. Lower time frames, yeah, like I said, same as Bitcoin. I feel like this is sitting at support, low time frame liquidity. This low right there, we do have this one as well, but I feel like this move grabbed low time frame liquidity already, and this sideways price action lining up with this low and lining up with this clean key level as well. I think anything like this should be a good buy, targeting higher. Well, maybe not that high, but at least back towards some highs. And then we'll have to see sweep, rejection, likely lower, break above here, and strength, new all-time highs. okay? So also decent area to look for longs in my opinion. Esther, I love charts that look like this, okay? Fresh coin launched, right? Lows, highs, highs unswept. What I also really like is this downwards movement. Why? Because you can see these wicks didn't take any liquidity to the upside, meaning if we get close to these highs, that will be your draw on liquidity, and that will be the target, right? Along with range highs up here, of course. Then on the drop on Friday, aggressive downside, right? Found support, broke up, right? And now just consolidating here a little bit. So what I like, as you can see, I just mapped out a Monday range on it. And as you can see, Monday low has been swept into range lows, right? Clean retest. If we now see some strength come in, boom, what will be the target? Monday high into range mean. Where do I get excited? Well, if we start reclaiming this, then we can target a lot higher and target new all-time highs after that. Don't underestimate how fast these things can move. It's a newer coin. Everyone's like, no, it's just gonna do this, right? And sometimes when everyone gets confident like that, what you get is a slow grind bounce, right? And then reject maybe a little bit again. Everyone's like, yeah, that was the bounce, boom. But then you keep grinding up, shorts getting squeezed, and you move to all-time highs after, right? So I am in longs on this one. As I said, lower time frame, no, not lower time frame, lower risk longs for now, as I'm waiting for some lower time frame confirmations, some strength to come in, of course, as Bitcoin is still bleeding lower as of now. But as soon, I mean, if Bitcoin shows strength, and it could be from here, we could front run, because on the lower time frames, as you can see, this was the low that got swept there, right? If you get that level there, that's exactly where we're bouncing, and we have that flat 4 hour, flat 12 hour. So if we start turning here, I feel like this could be the low in. Or if we start seeing the sweep there, right, and we see strength come in, at that point, Esther, I think, does this and goes for Monday highs. So as you can see, I longed initially a little bit early on this wick. Now I'm just letting it do its thing. If we reclaim this and show strength, I will likely add and trail my stops, maybe towards here. Or I'll just keep it with this, add some maybe, but keep my stops right there, manage it, and see what it does. All right, but I hope you understand why am I stopped there. Yeah, it's just the fact that I don't want to put it below there. Why not? Because just like with Bitcoin, on the lower time frames, you have the nuke, you have a low, a high. So now we're in the middle of the range. What's your range? Well, Monday high lines up with that. These lows as a range lows. So what I could see here, right, would be a sweep of this, then a reclaim, and then going for the pump. So that's why I gave it some room, right? My stop loss allowing for prices to sweep this. Do I think it's gonna sweep that low? Personally not. I feel like if it's strong, these range low retests should hold, and liquidity below Monday low should be enough. So see a reclaim there and then start pumping. But we'll see, right? We'll see. So that's another long I'm in. A third long is Tau. Entered this long this morning. I posted the chart on Twitter as well. Didn't post the setup, that's for the Discord only. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyways, let me explain. Very clean chart. Ever since we traded, like before the Friday dips, since we traded right here, you can go check. I posted charts. I wanted to see range lows getting swept into demand, right? And after that, I wanted to see the reclaim, and then we could trade it towards range highs. Of course, did I see a dip like this coming? Hell no. But that move did sweep clean liquidity. We reclaimed range lows. Then I posted I was bullish on it, and I wanted to look for longs from range lows to range highs. I didn't catch any longs, right, from the reclaim, but I was still looking at it, seeing it reclaim range mean, a pivotal level as well, right, as you can see here. So initial wick, that's where we rejected, dump, then lower time frame rejected as well, but then strong close on the reclaim, right, strong daily close far above, and then we retested that level to the downside while sweeping some lower time frame liquidity here to the downside. So at that point, I didn't only have a higher time frame draw on liquidity towards range highs, because higher time frame liquidity to the downside had been swept, but also lower time frame liquidity to the downside had been swept, and lower time frame liquidity to the upside had not been swept. Now it has right here, but at that point it didn't, right? So that's why I entered this long from there, low time frame liquidity swept, targeting there. In hindsight, should I have taken some off on the sweep of this? Maybe yes, maybe no, but as you can see, the risk reward 1.4. If it's high probability, I will take it. And in this case, I felt like it was high probability. Initially, very good reaction. So I thought we would just continue to pump towards those highs. We didn't, we rejected ugly, but we're still at support here. So I'm still in the position. And I still think as soon as Bitcoin starts bouncing here and some altcoins, of course, start bouncing, I think Tau will be one that outperforms. So then I could see this move into new highs like in a couple of 4-hour candles. So I'm just gonna hold this until my stop loss or target, unless something drastically changes. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. All right, so that's a third trade that I'm currently in. So we have Bitcoin, Esther, Tau, and then there's the last one, and that is Zcash. But that one's from yesterday evening, and I don't really like it anymore. But let me explain why I took the trade, what my thought process was. So yeah, pretty basic stuff. Let's remove this for now. Yeah, let's start off on the daily, right? Daily demand. Why daily demand? This was the sideways price action that led to aggressive continuation to the upside. So that's gonna be considered daily demand. If we zoom in to the 4-hour, this was the 4-hour sideways price action and where the sweep happened, but ultimately that led to continuation to the upside as well. All I did then from the range up there was mark out some highs and mark out some lows. The initial highs were these, the initial lows were these, right? We came down to the lows on this move and swept them in there and reclaimed. So on this candle, I pulled the trigger. I said low swept into 4-hour demand, target, low time frame here, and then continuation to the upside. If we don't hold above this area, likely down towards daily demand. And as you can see, we didn't get the best reaction. We wicked in there and started rejecting. Technically, we're still sitting at 4-hour demand, so I am still in the position. Would I take it right now if I wasn't in the position already? Probably not. But right here, yeah, it's like a position where you're basically, well, not really stuck, but it's like it's not worth closing it down here. So I'm either waiting for a stop out or a reclaim of this and new highs. All right, but I hope the setup makes sense and why I took the trade. All right, and then we have stuff like BNB, right? Initially from the wick, swept all-time highs and is now rejecting pretty heavily as well. But it will depend on Bitcoin, how Bitcoin reacts at the lows, right? If Bitcoin bounces aggressively, I think this will as well. Do I think that this keeps on outperforming like it did? maybe not, because it has had a very aggressive run to the upside. I was personally looking at 1.5k to start de-risking a little bit at least. I didn't get that area, so for now I'm just holding, but I'm like taking a look at what Bitcoin's doing. If it wants to bounce, like I think BNB is going to bounce aggressively as well. Lower time frames, where is liquidity gonna be resting? Well, just like Bitcoin, below this consolidation, in my opinion. So maybe on the lower time frames, do something like this, then reclaim and then target some highs again. Maybe not for a swing move, but just for like a trade. That's what I would like. So sweep this, right? Like I've drawn right here. Sweep that, keep your invalidation like, below here or something. And what do you have then? Long there, invalidation there, and just target some supply up here, you know. And then just as a trade, you know, nothing more. I like this. Okay, Bitcoin going for the lows, that's interesting. So quickly, what else do we have? Solana maybe? Yeah, we nailed the previous, like this was the one I was the most bearish on when we tested this, right? I said this is trading at key resistance. Everyone was fucking bullish on this. I said I don't see it, that both the high time frame and the low time frame are at key resistance, and then this move happened. I even mapped out a short, it's not here anymore, but it was like a short to these lows or somewhere down here. Would have played out beautifully. I didn't catch it. Like I said, the only shorts I caught were on breakout evaluation, which I paused, so that's amazing as well. But we were right on this. What do I think about it right now? Still not excited. Why not? Because it's still trading into high time frame key resistance and rejecting, unlike Ethereum, right, which traded at all-time highs and is retesting key support. Unlike Bitcoin, right, which made a new all-time high and now swept aggressive lows. I think Solana is a little bit different. While Solana retested key resistance and got rejected. So for Solana, once again, it's a much safer play, in my opinion, to wait for an aggressive reclaim of this area and then buy the retest and sell new highs, or even a break above here and then sell new highs. Because right now, I think the chances are way higher that we just chop around in between like 110 and 240. And if we start breaking out, then sure, we can look for a squeeze. Right? Zcash is such a weird coin. Sometimes when Bitcoin is acting that weak, like it's showing strength out of nowhere, and then Bitcoin pumps and this just nukes. It's like weird coin. Link is sort of the same. Same vibe, you know. The weak swept basically every low that's on the chart. But anyways, aggressive buyback. Well, that's normal. It's more about these candles and this structure, right? On every chart, by the way. Ignore the wick, you know. Focus on the candles that come after. Don't focus on this low, it's useless. But these candles, right, showing strength, and now swept Monday low. I feel like I'm in a sauna with this music. But anyways, it's copyright free, so Monday low swept into demand. There. As long as that holds and we smash back above Monday low, expect a squeeze back to Monday high, right? We're currently below, so be careful. We could dump all the way here and sweep this. That would be the second play. Sweep that, reclaim this, then take it long, invalidation, keep it wide, target Monday low, Monday high, and maybe supply above here. All right. Hype, yeah, pretty much the same, you know. Already being this close to here, I would wait for a sweep of this low, boom, reclaim, and target some highs. Pump, remember we were bearish up there looking for shorts. Yeah, guess what? We nailed it. Right now, yeah, swept all-time lows, so that's a good thing. So I do like it more than I liked it up here. Does that mean I'm gonna be looking for swing longs to new all-time highs? No, we're simply in a range in between these lows now and these highs. So not the best looking chart, not the worst looking chart, but like I don't really have any thoughts on this. Again, same game plan, sweep this and reclaim, then you target some highs, but that would be the trade done for me. Nothing more. Useless, I was looking at it. Today, actually, as I quite liked it, although I don't like the weekly. As you can see, barely a wick to the upside, and we swept previous week's high. So for that, what would I want to see, right? Ideally, reject here. Right, we are at key resistance, so let it roll over a bit, sweep these lows, then reclaim the weekly open, and if it does that, that's where you look for longs targeting a lot higher. But the fact that it showed this kind of strength, there's definitely interest in this coin. I will keep an eye on this, as I could see this trade to new highs from here. Well, yeah, from here as well, but in order for me to take a trade on it, that's what I would want to see, because at that point, if you take a look, the weekly open is there, Monday low is there. So if it sweeps those, right, and then reclaims it, then how would the weekly look? The weekly would look like this, right? And that looks better than this, no? So then I would be interested in longs and target new all-time highs. But yeah, technically this key level here is still resistance. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, that's the good thing, that we haven't taken liquidity above here. So that's gonna be a draw, high time frame wise. So again, ideally go for a sweep there, reclaim, and then target new highs. Esther, we already did. Bird, same thoughts. Nothing changed, right? Still sitting at support. Weekly range, accumulation range, broke above, retest, and now it's just ranging on top of this support area. Resistance area, flipped support. So yeah, still holding my bags, targeting higher. I think as long as this area holds, it's gonna go higher. Litecoin, yeah, also on the high time frame, nothing changed, right? Still in this monthly range, right? Strong buyback, now dumping a bit as Bitcoin's sweeping some lows as well. But still same thoughts. If it breaks above here and starts breaking out, I think it goes really fast. Okay, Bitcoin bouncing a little bit. See, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it front runs these lows. If it just sends from here. Could do still this though. We'll see. Let's see how our alts are reacting. you see, once Bitcoin is gonna show, like Bitcoin has been weak all this afternoon, right? Look at this. Once we confirm a little bit of strength and a hint that the bottom might be in the local bottom, before you all start shouting, I think some of the altcoins are going to pop off. Tau, for example, you see, also bouncing, looking good in the green. Zcash, cunt coin, we'll see what it does. Cannot trust it. It can scam out of nowhere and reclaim this and run to new highs, but at the same time it can just roll over and nuke 50%. I don't know. I'll hold my longs and see what it does. The great flippening is happening. Useless overtaking Fartcoin. Yeah, I mean, Fartcoin was so overshilled on Twitter, and every time, like on the streams, every time I did requests, there was people asking me my thoughts on Fartcoin, and was always the same. I didn't like it, and I still don't. Like, in the streams, every time I said this just looks weak to me, especially after this sweep and this heavy rejection. Yeah, it's more likely that we bleed all the way back down in here. And why would I be bullish on this now? Is this shouting like any sign of strength to you? No, then indeed I like useless way more, as it's trading near all-time highs. So yeah. Pengu. Yeah, also huge week to the downside, but yeah, I don't like this one. Because on this one, clean validation on shorts, right? As long as it doesn't reclaim this level, right? It's easy that it just rolls over. As it's a meme coin as well. If it starts showing strength above here, right? And looks like something like this, yeah, then it's a different story. Then we can start talking about the highs up here. But until then, nah, I don't like it. But yeah, can change quickly, you know? If we reclaim this, what was the level on Litecoin? You said it needs to reclaim. It's these high time frame highs, right? Like on the monthly, we rejected this range high level on all these 4 candles. So as soon, especially as now it looks like around the top, right? So as soon as you're gonna get a monthly close above this, I think it's go time. Until then, yeah, maybe a little bit shaky, right? If you like take a look at it from this perspective, as this being the high, lower low, lower high, right? So if it now smashes back above here, that would be the trigger. All right, cool. But the market is bouncing a bit. I want to be focusing on some charts and post, maybe trade some on the lower time frames. So I'll post in the Discord. Like I said, if you want to join, last chance to do so by using breakout. Simply buy an evaluation using my code, a fresh evaluation. So first time, it's important. You need to use a fresh email if you've bought evaluations before. Use my code and buy an evaluation of at least $200. Send me a DM and I'll add you to the Discord group. All right. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to my YouTube. Big thanks to my partners, and I will see you in the next one. I will likely do another one of these this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Thursday, maybe on Friday. I'll let you know. All right. But anyways, any questions, I'm in the Discord. Hit me up there. And I'll see you soon. Bye.